If you feel lonely often, there's something you need to hear. Loneliness is usually treated like a flaw. Like something is wrong with you. Like you're failing at being social, failing at being liked, failing at fitting in. But what if your loneliness isn't a weakness? What if it's actually a sign of depth? The truth is, people who feel lonely often aren't always isolated because they're unwanted. Sometimes they're lonely because they experience the world differently, more deeply, more thoughtfully, more selectively. And psychology shows that certain rare traits are strongly linked to frequent feelings of loneliness, traits that are powerful when understood correctly. If you feel lonely often, you probably have these 4 rare traits. Number 1, you crave depth over surface-level connection. Research in personality psychology shows that people high in emotional depth and openness tend to feel more disconnected in environments built around small talk and casual interaction. You don't just want to hang out. You want to understand someone. You want conversations that go somewhere. You want honesty, vulnerability, meaning. And when most social interactions stay on the surface, gossip, trends, jokes, shallow updates, you can feel alone even in a crowded room. It's not that you don't like people. It's that you're wired for depth. Imagine sitting with a group of friends, everyone laughing, but the conversation never moves beyond surface topics. You smile. You participate. But internally, you feel unseen. That quiet disconnect? That's not social failure. That's emotional selectivity. The positive reframe is this: you don't bond easily, but when you do, it's real. Your connections may be fewer, but they're stronger, more loyal, and more meaningful. That's rare. Number 2, you are highly self-aware. Psychology shows that people with high self-awareness are more likely to reflect on their internal states, including loneliness. Some people distract themselves from loneliness. You notice it. You sit with your thoughts. You analyze your feelings. You question why certain interactions felt off. This level of inner awareness can make you feel isolated because you are constantly observing yourself and others. You might notice subtle shifts in tone. You might sense when someone isn't being genuine. You might pick up on emotional undercurrents that others ignore. And that awareness can make it harder to blend in. But here's the strength. Self-awareness is strongly linked to emotional intelligence and long-term personal growth. While others move unconsciously through life, you reflect. You adjust. You evolve. Your loneliness isn't emptiness. It's often awareness without matching connection. Number 3, you have high standards for belonging. Research indicates that people who value authenticity over approval often report feeling lonelier, especially in environments where conformity is rewarded. You don't want to be liked for a mask. You want to be accepted for who you actually are. So you don't force yourself into groups that don't align with your values. You don't laugh at jokes you don't agree with just to fit in. You don't pretend to enjoy what you don't. And that takes courage. But it also comes with a cost. Sometimes you're standing alone. If you've ever walked away from friendships that didn't feel right, if you've ever chosen peace over popularity, if you've ever stayed quiet instead of performing, that's not social weakness. That's integrity. And integrity often feels lonely before it feels rewarding. The positive truth? You don't need everyone. You need alignment. And alignment is rarer, but far more fulfilling than approval. Number 4, you feel things deeply. Psychology shows that people with higher sensitivity and empathy tend to experience social experiences more intensely, both the good and the bad. When you connect with someone, it matters to you. When someone pulls away, you feel it. When you're misunderstood, it lingers. You replay conversations. You think about what you could have said differently. You care a lot, and that depth of feeling can make loneliness sharper. But here's what most people don't realize. The same sensitivity that makes loneliness heavy also makes love powerful. It makes loyalty strong. It makes compassion natural. You are not too much. You are emotionally tuned in. In a world that often rewards emotional detachment, being deeply feeling is rare. And finally, here's something important. Loneliness doesn't always mean you're alone. Sometimes it means you haven't found your people yet. Research on belonging shows that humans don't need many close connections to feel fulfilled. They need meaningful ones. If you feel lonely often, it may simply mean your nervous system rejects shallow connection and waits for depth. That's not a flaw. That's discernment. So instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" maybe ask, "What kind of environment would actually nourish me?" Maybe your loneliness is a signal, not of inadequacy, but of misalignment. And the moment you start seeing it that way, something shifts. You stop trying to shrink yourself to fit in. You stop chasing rooms where you feel invisible. You start seeking spaces where your depth is welcomed. If you feel lonely often, you are not broken. You are selective. You are aware. You are deep. You are wired for real connection. And when you finally find people who match that frequency, you won't feel lonely. You'll feel understood. If this resonated with you, it's not by accident. Subscribe for more insights into the hidden strengths behind misunderstood personality traits. Because sometimes the things you thought were weaknesses are actually your rarest strengths.